Golden Light Sutra reading. I almost said Sangata. Make that as well. Thank you so much. And it has been very, very inspiring. And I give the microphone straight to you. Thank you so much, Venerable Namjong.
Okay, so thank you, Venerable Kunpen, Pamela, all the other good folks at Tushita, and then, of course, all of you who are joining in for this, we should say, the last session of the Golden Light Sutra this week, during the days of miracles, 2022. Because hopefully, now that we know the tremendous benefit of having the sutra, we should make the aspiration that we'll come together again to recite, meditate, and accumulate merit and purify in relation to the sutra again and again and again until the end of samsara. So with that, let us just start in the usual way. And again, adjusting our motivation. So please think that, the very purpose of our lives is to benefit others. And especially when we look in the world, we see so many problems that are associated with this Kali Yuga, or this degenerate age. So of course, we see the tremendous suffering brought on by war, but more generally, then also all kinds of various diseases, all kinds of natural disasters, and then not only the physical suffering from illness, but also mental illness. Then when we look more deeply, then we inquire as to why do sentient beings experience these various sufferings? Well, it's because they're not free from the root cause of samsara, namely the ignorant mind that grasps onto the inherent existence of all phenomena. So as long as sentient beings have not liberated themselves from that, then they're born in samsara without control. They're under the control of their karma and their afflictions. And as soon as that happens, then we've taken on this type of body. We have this type of mind that is subject to getting sick, is subject to experiencing pain, is subject to, getting angry and doing further negative actions that then further perpetuate our own suffering. So whether we ourselves want to be free from suffering, or if we want to free others from suffering, then we set it our goal to uproot this cause of the root cause of suffering, the ignorant mind, leading, grasping to the true existence. So it's difficult enough to generate that realization within our own minds, much less than to help others generate it if we ourselves, haven't fully traversed the path to enlightenment. If we ourselves aren't omniscient, then the level with which we can benefit others and help others is supremely limited. And that's why we need to achieve enlightenment, so that we can achieve the omniscient mind that then is able to see the karmic dispositions, the various levels of mind of all the sentient beings we come into contact with, and then we'll know which teaching is going to be most effective for their minds, which teaching will allow them to generate this wisdom, realizing the ultimate nature of reality as quickly as possible. And therefore, since we need to obtain this mind of omniscience, then we need to, first, purify our minds of all the obscurations that prevent us from obtaining the state of enlightenment. And then even more fundamentally, we need to have this wish, seeing the need in relation to others for us to achieve enlightenment. Then we have to generate this wish to achieve it for the benefit of all sentient beings. So that is the mind of Bodhichitta, the altruistic wish to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. And that is going to motivate all of our actions from this moment on, And then in particular, not just leaving it as a wish, but then to engage in the various practices that lead to the state of enlightenment. And so now here, the very profound Golden Light Sutra recitation is one of the very best things we can do to quickly make utmost progress along the path to enlightenment, because it contains all of the, the sort of aspects to purify our mind of previous negativities, as well as accumulate extensive merit. And especially for us who are students of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, then since this is one of his very heart advices, he says, he puts his hands together and basically pleads with us, his students, to recite as much as possible. Then since it is following the Guru's advice, then it becomes the most skillful means of purifying and accumulating merit. So always keep that in mind, but now particularly bring that motivation to your heart as we now embark on this practice. And, that is the sort of general motivation. And then in particular, we can think that we are doing this practice for all the sentient beings in this world, all the sentient beings we have a karmic connection with. So it talks about the extensive benefits the sutra, reading the sutra has onto all the people, all the sentient beings in the various countries that we're living in. So it's very important, thinking that we're now, by ourselves alone, we're going to be the source of the peace, the well-being of all the beings in our various countries. Okay, so with that, we go to the preliminary prayers. Oops. Oh no. Okay, I like that. All right. So now, again, not just jumping into reciting these words, but before we do that, then we first, to kind of cement the fact that we're doing this for the benefit of all sentient beings, we visualize all sentient beings in the space around us. Then we think that our Guru has come to this space and is now appearing in the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha. And we visualize our Guru, him or her, in the space in front, in the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha. And then to reflect how our own Guru is the embodiment of all the Buddha Dharma and Sangha, and thinking of all the good qualities of the Buddha Dharma and Sangha, and then aspiring to attain those qualities within our own minds. And that's the reason why we go for refuge. We need to rely on the three jewels to, traverse the path to enlightenment. Then we think that all sentient beings are reciting these words along with us, and more importantly, generating bodhicitta and taking refuge as well. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. And then we'll do the 7-limb prayer. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. So again, meditate as if you are doing each limb individually. I present clouds of every type of offering actual and imagined. So here again, I'm opening a new incense because the last pack we finished. So that's very good. So anyway, I think all of you know by now all the extensive benefits from offering incense to the sutra as explained. So now we're doing this on behalf of all sentient beings. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. So then all of these offerings that we have, in your respective places, as well as all the offerings laid out one second. In the other FPMT centers, as well as in Rinpoche's houses. Thanks again to Tibetan Namjong for all his hard work, laying out the water bowls there at Kopan Monastery in Nepal. And then all of the imagined offerings. So not just, the however 7 water bowls, 2 sticks of incense, but all of these offerings pervading the entire universe. And we offer these offerings on behalf of all sentient beings, to all the 10 directions, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, statues, to the scriptures, all of the relics, all of the prayer wheels, every holy object that we have the awareness is one in nature with our own root guru. And then confession. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time. So thinking especially all the 10 non-virtues, all the 5 uninterrupted negative karmas, all of the broken vows, the 3 types of vows, and then especially the heavy negative karma in relation to the 3 jewels, and especially the negative actions we've done in relation to our guru, not following the advice, harming the holy body, disturbing the holy mind. From beginningless time, then we've done all of these things, not just once, but many times. And then seeing the drawbacks of negative karma. Of course, there are causes for rebirth in lower realms. There are causes for suffering, even when we're in the higher rebirths. But more importantly, for us as aspiring Mahayana practitioners, having these negative karmas and their imprints on our mind then prevents us from attaining the realizations along the path to enlightenment. Makes it very difficult for us to gain insight, gain realization as we try to meditate and practice. So then seeing the various drawbacks of these negative karmas and their imprints, we regret them and make the determination not to engage in such destructive behavior again in the future. Then the limb of rejoicing, and rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. So now thinking how merit is the source of all success up to and including the attainment of enlightenment. And therefore, because we ourselves wish to achieve enlightenment, and more importantly, we want all sentient beings to attain enlightenment, then when we think about ourselves or others engaging in virtuous deeds, it should make us extremely happy, seeing how much this is going to benefit them in the future. And then especially thinking of all the extensive deeds to benefit sentient beings that the great Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have done and are doing, then it particularly focus on rejoicing for these Mahayana, the full-fledged Mahayana practitioners. Then, please remain until the end of cyclic existence. So here we're requesting our guru, all of our gurus, to not lose patience with us and instead remain in this world in a form that we can interact with, that we can receive teachings from, guidance, inspiration. We think that we're offering not just one, but countless thrones, golden thrones marked by a double vajra, a symbol of stability. And very important to think that our guru accepts our request and agrees to now stay until the end of samsara. Next, and turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings, requesting our guru then to continue to teach us, give us teachings exactly according to our needs. And here we visualize offering not just one, but countless golden Dharma chakras that the guru then accepts both our offering and then accepts our request to teach. I dedicate my own merits and those of all others to the great enlightenment. I don't think I mentioned this, but the great enlightenment then has two connotations. One, great enlightenment, distinguishing it from the lesser enlightenment of personal liberation. And then here we're dedicating for all sentient beings, everyone who is not yet enlightened, to become enlightened. And therefore, since our aspiration also then includes all the sentient beings, that's also making it great. Then a short mandala offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. So there again, visualizing not just one, but on every single atom of the entire universe, we visualize an entirely perfect, pure Buddha land that we then offer to our guru with the temporary aspiration that all sentient beings can be reborn in such a pure land. And then also thinking that all the sentient beings will quickly traverse the path and establish their own Buddha pure land when they achieve enlightenment. Now the special request for the 3 great purposes. I prostrate and go for refuge to the Guru and the 3 precious gems. Please bless my mind. I'm requesting you to immediately pacify all wrong conceptions, from incorrect devotion to the Guru up to the subtle dual view of the white, red, and dark visions that exist in my mind and in the minds of all mother sentient beings. I'm requesting you to immediately generate all the right realizations, from Guru devotion up to enlightenment, in my mind and in the minds of all mother sentient beings. I'm requesting you to pacify all the outer and inner obstacles to actualizing the entire graduated path to enlightenment in my mind and in the minds of all mother sentient beings. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niratayami. Then the multiplying mantra. Tayata Om Dari Dari Bendari Soha. 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 Then keeping these two visualizations while we recite. So visualizing again the Buddha, visualized in front, is giving us the teaching. And we actualize the realizations in our heart while we recite. And then we can also think that we ourselves, as we recite, are then teaching this sutra to all the sentient beings we visualize in the space around us. And then as they hear the sutra, they receive all of the realizations as well as purify their delusions, defilements, karma, and suffering. Okay. So Chapter 19, chapter on the praise by all the Bodhisattvas. Then those hundreds of thousands of Bodhisattvas approach the Tathagata, Survana Ratna Kachara Chatrakuta, paying homage with their heads at the feet of the Tathagata, Survana Ratna Karachatrakuta. They stood to one side. Having stood to one side, the numerous hundreds of thousands of Bodhisattvas folded their hands in reverence and praised the Tathagata Survana Ratna Karachatrakuta in these verses. O conqueror, your body resembles refined gold, for its glorious presence possesses a golden hue. You are golden, like the golden king of mountains. The white lotus seer has features of gold. Sublime major marks adorn your body in full. Sublime minor signs embellish your body parts. You are brilliant and possess the fine splendor of gold, utterly pristine, serene as the Lord of mountains. You have the voice of Brahma and Brahma's melodic sound. You roar the rumbling song of the lion and that of the dragon too. Your 60-fold melody echoes and resounds. Conqueror, your melody holds cuckoo and peacock songs, utterly without stain, spotless and immaculate with glorious light. O conqueror, marks of 100 virtues adorn you. Your ocean of wisdom is supremely flawless and pristine. Conqueror, like Sumeru, you are endowed with every virtue. With supreme compassion for the welfare of beings, you are the supreme bestower of peace upon the world. Granting the state of tranquility beyond death, O conqueror, you expound the highest sublime truth and usher in serenity beyond suffering. O conqueror, through revealing the nectar of the Dharma, you usher in the deathless city, an abode of peace. You are the source of everything serene. O conqueror, you free migrating beings from suffering and liberate creatures from the ocean of misery. You place them well upon the path to peace and give happiness to every being. Nothing can be found that is comparable to the sage's ocean of virtue and wisdom. Possessing compassion for beings laden with life, you have the powers of love, perseverance, and skill. There is none among beings, even among the gods, who in many thousands of millions of eons can fully explain merely one drop of virtue from the ocean of your supreme qualities. Taking a single drop from your ocean of virtue, I have stated some only in brief. Whatever merit I have thus gathered, may beings touch supreme enlightenment. This ends the 19th chapter, the chapter on praise by all the Bodhisattvas from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Chapter 20, praise to all the Tathagatas. Then indeed the Bodhisattva Ruchara Ketu rose from his seat, placed his upper over one shoulder, knelt his right knee on the ground, folded his hand in reverence toward the Tathagata, and praised the Tathagata. Lord of sages, you are gloriously adorned with thousands of enchanting virtues. You possess the marks of hundreds of merit. With your sumptuous complexion, you appear supremely serene as 1,000 suns shining forth with dazzling light. Blazing with myriad rays, you are engulfed with light, resplendent with color like jewels of blue and white, gold, lapis, copper, and dawn crystal light. You pulverize Sumeru, the Vajra king of mountains. You illuminate tens of millions of worlds and soothe their fierce suffering. You satisfy beings with supreme peace. Your complexion and sixth sense powers are bright and beautiful to behold. Your form is a joy for beings to constantly see. Enchantingly beautiful, your hair, the color of a peacock, shines as a lotus filled with bees. You are adorned with the virtue of pure compassion. You have gathered sublime merit through concentration and love. Possessed of sublime minor marks in many colors, you fulfill beings with all happiness. Beautified by enlightenment 7 wings, you are adorned with virtues such as samadhi, giver of well-being. All peace and happiness stem from you. You are richly adorned with an array of profound virtue and shine vividly in tens of millions of pure land. Gloriously radiant like a fire, glowing light, you resemble the full solar orb in the sky. Endowed with all virtue as is Mount Sumeru, you are magnanimous in every world sphere, like cow milk, the conch, white lily or the moon, white as pristine snow. The rows of teeth are lovely in your mouth, as the king of geese is graceful in the sky. The precious treasure hair in the center of the horizon of your serene moon-like face curls to the right, stunningly beautiful, like lapis, or the sun amidst the sky, bright with light. This ends the 20th chapter, the chapter on praise to all the Tatakatas from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Chapter 21, the concluding chapter. Then at that time, at that moment, the noble goddess Bodhisattva Samachaya praised the Tathagata. Homage to the Buddha, who is possessed of an utterly immaculate mind and presides over an utterly flawless Dharma. Perfectly knowing existence and non-existence, his sublime mind is freed from evil karma's paths. How amazing! The Buddha's splendor is boundless. How amazing! It is like the ocean and Mount Sumeru. How amazing! The Buddha's field of activity is endless. The Buddha is rare as the Udumvara blossom. How amazingly compassionate is the Tathagata, the pinnacle of the Shakya kings, a son among lords of men, that he has expounded such a sublime sutra as this in order to nurture and guide all beings. With his senses serene, the Tathagata Shakyamuni has entered the city of peace, most sublime, so profound, calm, and beautiful and pure is your concentration. You abide in the victorious Buddha's domain of experience. In this way, the abodes of Shravakas are empty. The most sublime of bipeds dwells in emptiness too. As all these phenomena are empty by nature, those lacking empty nature are not found at all. Unwavering and steadfast, I remember the conqueror. Always, I am anxious to behold the Buddha. Fervently and incessantly, I pray to glimpse the fully enlightened Tathagata sun. Constantly planting my knees on the ground in sorrowful thirst, I long for the conqueror. In a pitiful voice, I sob for the leader. Deeply thirsty for the Sugata's sight, I remain. As I incessantly blaze with anxiety's fire, bestow on me the cooling water of your sight. O Buddha, act for me with compassion. Grant me the boon of your appearance, for I suffer with thirst for your sublime form. Satisfy me with the water of your compassion. You are the refuge of all beings, including the gods. Thus, the bodies of Shravakas are empty. All beings by nature are like in a dream, like space and the nature of space, an illusion, a mirage, or the moon reflected in water. O Buddha, you are endowed with the great empty. Then the Tathagata arose from his seat and spoke in a Brahma voice. Excellent, noble goddess, excellent again to you. When the Tathagata spoke in this way, the Bodhisattvas led by the noble goddess Bodhisattva Samuchaya, the daughters of gods such as the noble goddess Sarasvati, the hosts of goddesses such as the noble goddess Shri, the divine kings such as Vairashvana, the whole assembly in the entire world of gods, humans, asuras, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Maharagas, and so forth rejoiced and greatly praised the speech of the Tathagata. This ends the 21st chapter, the concluding chapter from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. The King of Glory Sutras, called the Exalted Sublime Golden Light, is completed. So here, you know, when a Lama gives a oral transmission, then usually it's an auspicious practice that at the end, they will start again at the beginning and just do a few pages. So although this wasn't an oral transmission, I think it is auspicious that we do the first chapter again together. And why is this auspicious? Well, it's because then, you know, we've started something and we haven't completed it. So it creates the cause that we then come together as a group to complete the work that we've studied. Started. Okay. The King of Glory Sutras, called the Exalted Sublime Golden Light, a Mahayana Sutra, in the language of India, Arya Survana Prabha Sotama Sutrendaraja Mahayana Sutra, in the language of Tibet, Papa Se Dampa Do De Wangpo Gyalpo Shechawa Tekpa Chimpu Do. Chapter 1, the chapter on the preamble to the King of Glory Sutra, the Sublime Golden Light. Homage to all the past, future, and present Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Pratyeka Buddhas, and Shravakas. Thus have I heard at one time the Tathagata entering the Buddha's domain of experience, the profound sphere of reality at Vulture's Peak, expounded to supreme Bodhisattvas who are pure and stainless, this King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, which is extremely profound upon hearing and profound upon examination. The Buddhas in the four directions confer their blessings, blessings from Akshobhya in the east, Ratnaketu in the south, Amitabha in the west, and Dundubishvara in the north. In order to extinguish all unwholesome deeds, I will proclaim this auspicious sublime discourse that exhausts all negative karma, grants all peace and happiness, completely eliminates suffering, which is adorned with all that is glorious, and is the foundation of omniscience, granting blessings. This I shall explain. Sentient beings whose senses are defective, whose life expectancy has ended or is fading, whom the gods have turned against, who are burdened by misfortune, hated by their loved ones, or oppressed as household servants, in conflict with one another, afflicted with decline in material wealth, grief-stricken and miserable, ridden with fear and stricken by poverty, troubled by stars, planetary bodies, and fierce demonic spirits, or who see excruciating nightmares. Oops. No, not that one. Following grief and fatigue, they should bathe well to render themselves clean and listen to this sublime sutra. Should those with virtuous intent and pure mind adorn themselves well in clean garments, then listen to the sutra on the profound, the domain of Buddha's experience. Through the awe-inspiring power of this sutra, the suffering of all creatures, the likes of which cannot be endured, will be forever pacified. Protection will be offered to them by the guardians of the world, their ministers and army chiefs, the tens of thousands of millions of yakshas, the great goddess Sarasvati, and the goddess who dwells in the Naranjana, by Hariti, the mother of Bhutas, the earth goddess Durga, by the Brahmin kings and the kings of the 33, the powerful king of serpents, kings of Kinnaras and kings of Asuras, likewise by the king of Garudas. They, with their clans and might, will arrive along with their mounts, and unfailingly day and night offer protection to beings. I will clearly expound the sutra on the profound, the domain of Buddha's experience, the secret of all the Buddhas, difficult to find in tens of millions of eons. Those who hear this sutra, those who cause others to hear it, those who rejoice upon hearing and make offerings to it, for tens of millions of eons, shall be venerated by gods and nagas, humans and kinnaras, asuras and yakshas, for beings without merit, Their store of merit will grow into limitless, incalculable, inconceivable mass. Fiercely, they will be protected by Buddhas in 10 directions, likewise also by Bodhisattvas engaged in the profound, clad in clean garments, wearing well-perfumed clothes, possessing a mind firm with love, without distraction. One should honor this sutra, render the mind spotless, put forth effort to make it expansive and intensely clear, then listen to the sublime sutra. Those who listen to the sutra will be acclaimed among humans, attain an excellent human existence, and live a life of comfort. Those into whose ears the sublime discourse is echoed will have merit roots refined, and numerous Buddhas will extol them. This ends the first chapter, the chapter on the preamble to the King of Glory Sutras, the sublime golden light. Then continuing with the multiplying mantra. Om Gadara Vidara Soha Ratna Shakuna Tadagadaya Aprihatta Shasanam Om Kaka Kai Kai Hon Zola Zola Tigada Tigada Pepe Soha. Okay, well, we have come to the end of the sutra recitation, but we have a lot of time because, we've normally been going till, 10 p.m. my time. So for 53 minutes. So I thought maybe we can do what I sort of planned to do the first day, but, was caught in the wrong time zone. So I wanted to just now give a little bit extra encouragement in case, anyone has any doubts that they're going to continue with this practice on a sort of regular basis. So here again, okay, this is from, the Lama Yeshe Wisdom Archive. So this is Lama Zopa Rinpoche, our most perfect guru. This is his, direct advice. I wanted to just go over that in full in case anyone had any doubts remaining. So anyone who wants peace in the world should read the Golden Light Sutra. This is a very important practice to stop violence and wars in the world. The Golden Light Sutra is one of the most beneficial ways to bring peace. This is something everyone can do, no matter how busy you are, even if you can read 1 page a day or a few lines, and in this way, be continually reading the Golden Light Sutra. So I'll mention here, because, this is a very skillful advice by Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So, it's very long, right? And it's taken us many days reciting for nearly 90 minutes a day to complete. But if one can read just 1 page a day, right? Have that as a sort of minimum. And then, what they say, the hardest thing is to start, right? And so you have as a minimum, a goal on a daily basis just to read 1 page. But then as you start to read, you can continue on, and maybe you'll do 3 pages, maybe you'll do 5 pages, maybe you'll do 10 pages. But even if you can only do 1 page a day, and then more when you can, then you're at least getting into the habit. And then, as it mentions in the section on karma in the Lamrim, then these actions that we do repeatedly, habitually, they become even more powerful. So, yeah, that's one thing very good to do. The Holy Golden Light Sutra is the king of the sutras. It is extremely powerful and fulfills all one's wishes, as well as bringing peace and happiness for all sentient beings up to enlightenment. It is also extremely powerful for world peace, for your own protection, and for the protection of the country and the world. Also, it has great healing power for people in the country. For anyone who desires peace for themselves and others, this is the spiritual or Dharma way to bring peace, which doesn't require you to harm others, doesn't require you to criticize others, or even to demonstrate against others, yet can accomplish peace. Anyone can read this text Buddhists, and even non-Buddhists who desire world peace. This also protects individuals and the country from what are labeled natural disasters of the wind element, fire element, earth element, and water element, such as earthquakes, floods, cyclones, fires, tornadoes, etc. They are not natural because they come from causes and conditions that make dangers happen. They come from past inner negative thoughts and actions of people and external conditions. The benefits of reading the Sutra are immeasurable. It says that even if you offer numberless precious jewels equal to the amount of atoms in the Pacific Ocean, and to numberless Buddhas, reciting even just a few lines of the Sutra of Golden Light creates more merit than making these immeasurable offerings to Buddha. Reciting the Sutra directs one's life toward enlightenment. There is so much merit created by reciting the Sutra. Everything is taken care of. One's life becomes so easy, and whatever one wishes for, one receives. This is because there is unbelievable purification and one collects extensive merits. This is how one liberates numberless sentient beings from the ocean of samsaric suffering and brings them to enlightenment. So here, I would like to make this request with my two palms together to please recite the Sutra of Golden Light for world peace as much as you can. So just think how kind our Guru has been, yeah, giving us teachings, giving us initiations, giving us advice, giving us the vows. And now, this is something to think, right? How many times has our Guru requested us to do anything? Not many, right? Given us so much without asking for anything in return. So now, this one, this is what he's asking us to do. And not just asking, two palms together, right? He is the one, our Guru, he's the one we should be prostrating to. He's the one we should be putting our palms together to. And now he's doing that to us. So, okay, one page every day, no problem. And I also thought this, because it always talks about, wash yourself, put on clean clothes, and then, listen to the sutra. So we can make it a very nice habit. You guys bathe maybe, I don't know, every day, most days. So then every time, you get out of the shower, you put on clean clothes, then you think, oh, I'm going to now recite the Golden Light Sutra. What do you think? Okay. So now, I mentioned these in the first day too, right? So, the doubt comes, oh, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, this is his thing. But here, I mentioned these two quotations from Lama Tsongkhapa, right? In case we need any more, sort of motivation and urging to engage in this sutra. So here, right, this is the Lamrim Chenmo, the section on the four opponent powers, okay? How we can purify. And then here in the power of eradication, the first power is great contrition for having done non-virtuous actions since the beginning of this time. In order to feel this, it is necessary to meditate on the way in which you produce these three effects of actions, fruition, and so on. At the time of putting this into practice, do so by way of the two methods, the confession of sin in the Sutra of Golden Light, and the confession of sins by way of 35 Buddhas. Okay, so 35 Buddhas practice, it's so famous, everyone is doing that on a daily basis, right, to purify. So let's follow Lama Tsongkhapa's advice as well, and do so also on the basis of the Sutra of Golden Light. Then, next one. This is the volume 2 of Lama Tsongkhapa's liberation. Lam Rimchenmo. Great treatise on the stages of the path to enlightenment. Okay, so this is in the section on bodhicitta, right? So some of you might think, oh yeah, purification, that's for those, small school practitioners. I'm a Mahayana practitioner, I'm above all that. Anyway, in that, okay, the Compendium of Trainings. So you guys know who wrote the Compendium of Trainings? None other than the great Bodhisattva Shantideva. Okay, Shantideva, who also wrote the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, which, by the way, His Holiness the Dalai Lama said everything he learned about bodhicitta then is, contained in that text. And so in that text, Bodhisattva Charyavatara, he mentions that those Bodhisattva trainings are explained in further detail in the Compendium of Trainings, Laptu. So then, what is the advice that Shantideva is giving us? How to generate the mind of bodhicitta. So there, the Compendium of Trainings says that you should think wholeheartedly about the verses of the Sutra of Golden Light, which discuss the cultivation of love and compassion. It further says that you should at least recite and meditate on the following verse from this sutra. Through the sound of the sacred golden light, great gem, may the suffering of miserable realms, the suffering brought on by the Lord of Death, the suffering of poverty, and all suffering be extinguished in the 3 realms of the universe of the billion world systems. So, some of you who have studied a bit of Tibetan, then you'll know that, the pluralizing words is sometimes kind of implied, right? So actually, I went into the Compendium of Training, and I wanted to find the section where Shantideva was talking about the Sutra of Golden Light. And there, it's actually that whole chapter on the, the chapter on the drum, right? So this stanza that Lama Tsongkhapa is citing here is only the first stanza of that. So in my opinion, it does this many times in the text, right? So Tsongkhapa's advice is that we should meditate on the following verses from the sutra, starting with this verse, but then continuing on to the rest we recited before, but all those very beautiful aspirations contained therein. It actually reads very much like the King of Prayers, the dedication chapter of Bodhisattva Charyavatara. Okay, so I thought now, as we now are going to do a more extensive dedication, that we can also then, bonus time with the Sutra of Golden Light, we can then read that chapter, the chapter on the drum, as a means of dedication. Sorry, it's difficulty scrolling. Okay, here we go. Okay. By the way, I'm just assuming you're all, so convinced by Lama Zopa Rinpoche as well as Lama Tsongkhapa that you're all like, okay, I'm going to do this from today on. Okay. So if not, I don't know what more I can do to convince you, but I'm just assuming that. Okay. So now, before we dedicate now, let's just take a moment, and it's always good to rejoice prior to dedicating. So many of you now from around the world. I think there's been, at least 60, I don't know, maybe 100, I don't know, people from all various countries, including our brothers and sisters in Ukraine, including Russia as well. So many different countries from around the world, all coming together with the virtuous intention of trying to do something to benefit sentient beings, to try to do something to put our gurus' instructions into practice, to try to do something to purify our minds and make progress along the path to enlightenment. So amazing. And then especially in these days of miracles, all of our virtuous action then multiplied by 100 million in its potency and its power. And then I know some of you also, taking the Mahayana precepts as well. Doing that also further increases all the virtuous activities by another 100,000. So just think how wonderful, how fortunate it is that, we've even been able to hear just, the word Sutra of Golden Light, much less, read it, much less read the entire sutra. And so now we'll recite this chapter as the beginning of our dedication. One night without distraction, I dreamed a vivid dream. I saw a large and beautiful drum filling the world with golden light and glowing like the sun. Beaming brightly to all places, it was seen from 10 directions. Everywhere, Buddhas were seated on thrones of precious lapis, at the foot of jeweled trees, facing an assembly of many hundreds of thousands. I saw a form like that of a Brahmin fiercely beat upon the drum. When he struck it, these verses issued forth. By the sound of this majestic drum of golden light, may the suffering of lower migration, yama, and the poverty of the 3 realms of the 1,000 worlds cease to be. By the sound of this majestic drum, may the ignorance of the world be dispelled, with fears quelled, just as vanquishing sages are unafraid. May sentient beings become fearless and brave. Just as the omniscient vanquishing sage in the world is possessed of every excellence of the Aryas, may countless beings too possess oceans of qualities, concentration, and the wings of enlightenment. By the sound of this majestic drum, may all beings be endowed with the melody of Brahma. May they touch the sublime enlightenment of Buddhas. May they turn the virtuous wheel of the Dharma. Remaining for inconceivable eons, may they teach the Dharma to guide migrating beings, conquering delusion and overcoming affliction. May their attachment, hatred, and ignorance be pacified. May sentient beings who fall into lower migrations, whose body of bone are alight with blazing flame, hear the speech of this majestic drum. May the proclamation, homage to the Tathagata, be heard. In the course of hundreds of births and tens of thousands of millions of births, may every being remember their former lives, hear these teachings completely, and always recall the vanquishing sages. By the sound of this majestic drum, may beings always find the company of Buddhas. Through renouncing every harmful act, may they engage only in virtuous deeds. For humans, gods, and all creatures, whatever thoughts and wishes they have, may their every wish be totally fulfilled by the sound of this majestic drum. For beings born in the most terrible hells, bodies alight with blazing flame, who wander without aim, bereft of refuge, filled with grief, may tormenting fires utterly end. For those who bear the suffering of humans, for hell beings, animals, and hungry ghosts, may every suffering be completely dispelled by the sound of this majestic drum. For those who are without refuge, without base, support, or friend, may I become their supreme refuge, their base, their support and friend. Supreme among bipeds, O Buddhas dwelling in the worlds of 10 directions with merciful, compassionate mind, please pay attention to me. O Buddhas possessed with 10 powers, those terrible wicked acts I've committed in the past, before your eyes I confess them all. Whatever unwholesome deeds I've done, not holding parents as parents, not holding Buddhas as Buddhas, not upholding virtuous deeds, whatever unwholesome deeds I've done, haughty with the vanity of wealth, haughty with age and youthfulness, haughty with pride of affluence and class, whatever unwholesome deeds I've done, through harmful thoughts, harmful words, and thought of harm is harmless, and harmful actions done, whatever unwholesome deeds I've done, acting with the mind of a child, a mind dark with ignorance, or under the sway of a non-virtuous friend, greatly charged with emotion, discontent with wealth, afflicted with depression and malaise, or under the impulse of frivolous play, whatever unwholesome deeds I've done, through mixing with vile characters of non-Aryas, through jealousy and miserliness, through poverty and guile, whatever unwholesome deeds I've done, when poverty came to me, fearing the loss of the desirable and stricken with a dearth of material goods, whatever unwholesome deeds I've done, under the power of a flighty mind, ruled by desire and hatred, or oppressed by hunger and thirst, whatever unwholesome deeds I've done, when oppressed by affliction for the sake of pursuing women, or acquiring food, drink, and attire, through misdeeds of body, speech, and mind, I have amassed threefold wrong acts. In these 3 ways, whatever I've done, these deeds I confess in full. Whatever I've done, disrespecting Buddhas, the Dharma, and Shravakas too, these deeds I confess in full. Actions I have done, lacking respect to Prateka Buddhas, as well as to Bodhisattvas, these deeds I confess in full. Disrespect I have shown to those who preach the Dharma, likewise contempt of Dharma itself, these deeds I confess in full. Continually unaware of its benefit, I have rejected the sublime Dharma. I have shown unwitting insolence to parents, these deeds I confess in full. Childish and veiled by stupidity, blind with desire and hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and pride, these deeds I confess in full. Honoring those who possess the 10 powers, I shall worship those dwelling in all directions. I shall deliver sentient beings, inhabiting every realm, from all suffering. I shall place uncountable beings upon the Bodhisattva's 10 grounds, abiding in these 10 stages. May they all become Tatakatas, until I am capable of freeing them all from countless oceans of suffering. For 10 million eons, I shall strive for the sake of even one sentient being. To these sentient beings, I shall reveal this sutra called Sublime Golden Light, which rids one of every harmful misdeeds and expounds upon the profound. Those who for 1,000 eons committed deadly unwholesome deeds, by confessing them earnestly once through the sutra, all will be purified, swiftly and wholly consuming all karmic obscurations by making confession through the sublime golden light. I shall abide on the 10 bodhisattva grounds, those mines of supreme precious jewels, that I may shine with the Tatakatas' marks and signs and free beings from the ocean of existence. Through Buddhas, who are the water of oceans, their inconceivable Tathagata qualities akin to the ocean's profound depth, I shall evolve into an omniscient being. Becoming a Buddha, I shall possess 10 powers, hundreds of thousands of concentrations, inconceivable, magical, mantra, incantations, enlightenment, 7 wings, the 5 powers and 5 forces. O Buddhas, who continually look upon beings, I request you to gaze intently upon me, your compassionate minds always overflowing. May you hold the remorseful always near. Due to countless sinful actions performed in hundreds of eons past, my mind is pierced and stricken with grief, wretchedness, sorrow, and fear. Solemnly fearing unwholesome deeds, I shall always keep my mind modest. Whenever I commit the smallest action, I will not succumb to frivolous excitement. Since Buddhas are compassionate and dispel the fright of all beings, I entreat them to hold the remorseful fast and free us from every fear. May the Tathagata keep at bay my negative karma and emotion. May the Buddhas always bathe me with their water of compassion. I confess all unwholesome deeds, whatever I have done in the past, whatever is done in the present, these deeds I confess in full. I shall not conceal nor hide harmful actions I have done. In future times I shall refrain from deeds that render me full of shame. 3 actions of the body, 4-fold of the voice, 3-fold of the mind. These deeds I confess in full. actions I have done through body and speech, clearly impelled by the mind, those tenfold actions I accomplish, these deeds I confess in full, renouncing the 10 unwholesome deeds and cultivating those 10 which are moral. I will come to abide in the 10 grounds and acquire the Buddha's 10 great powers. Every unwholesome deed I have done that leads to unwanted results in the presence of the Buddhas, these deeds I confess in full. In the wholesome, virtuous deeds of all those dwelling in Jambudvipa and those living in other worlds too, in these deeds I rejoice. Likewise, whatever merit I have gathered through body, speech, and mind, by the force of this virtue's ripening effect, may supreme enlightenment be attained. Deeds committed on samsara's precarious wheel, those actions influenced by a childish mind, approaching the presence of the peerless 10 powers, all these deeds I confess individually, through feeble birth, feeble existence, feeble world, and feeble volatile mind, multitudes of physical actions, this mass of evil deeds I confess in full. Wretched with delusion of the childish and foolish, wretched through association with non-virtuous friends, wretched with existence, wretched with desire, wretched with hatred, wretched with ignorance, wretched with fatigue, wretched with time, and wretched in accomplishing virtue, I approach the incomparable conquerors and confess all negativities individually. I prostrate to the Buddha's ocean of virtue, golden like Mount Sumeru. Going for refuge, I bow my head in prostration to the golden conqueror. Their compassionate light dispels the double mantle of darkness. Buddhas are the sun, blazing glorious splendor and renown. Golden in color, eyes fine as pure faultless lapis. They glow with a glitter of pure gold. Their exquisite and beautiful limbs are utterly flawless and perfectly formed. From pristine limbs, the Buddha's sun radiates shafts of golden light. Consumed by the flame of negative passion, sentient beings blaze like fire. They are refreshed and soothed by the moon-like light of Buddhas. 32 major marks render their senses exquisitely refined. Their awe-inspiring limbs are graced by 80 minor signs, filled with merit and glory. Like splendid rays of spinning light, they orbit as does the sun in the darkness of the triple realms. Pure as lapis with an array of rich color, exquisitely adorned by myriad webs of light, your limbs resemble the crystal, silver, and crimson of dawn. Like the sun, O sages, you are enchantedly glorious. For those fallen into the great river of cyclic existence, tossed amidst crushing waves of sorrow and death, may abundant immense rays of the sun, that is the Tathagata, deplete the ocean of samsara, violent and cruel. With limbs shining brightly the color of gold, their wisdom source, peerless among the three realms, their limbs are adorned with intensely charming marks. I prostrate to the Buddha, whose body is sparkle gold. Just as water in the ocean cannot be measured, just as dust on the earth is utterly without end, just as Mount Sumeru possesses matchless stone, and the edge of space is infinitely unknown. Likewise, the virtue of Buddhas are limitless. If sentient beings took the measure of their qualities and for countless eons reflected upon them, still the extent of their virtue could not be seen. If for countless eons one may possibly know water droplets at hair ends, or particles of earth's mountains, oceans, and rocks, but not the limit of Buddha's virtue. May sentient beings evolve into such Buddhas, graced with virtue, color, fame, and renown, their bodies embellished with major marks of goodness and the sublime 80 minor signs. Through these virtuous actions, I shall soon become a Buddha on this earth, preaching the darkness that guides the world. I shall free beings forever afflicted by suffering. I shall triumph over Mara with his army and might. I shall turn the wheel of virtuous Dharma, abiding for inconceivable eons. I shall satisfy sentient beings with the water of Dharma's nectar, just as conquerors of the past completed 6 perfections. These perfections too I shall fully achieve. My ignorance, hatred, and desire pacified, I shall conquer delusion and dispel pain. I shall always remember my former births, hundreds of existences, and 10 millions of lives. Always recalling the vanquishing sages, I shall listen to their teachings in full. Through these virtuous actions, I shall always find the company of Buddhas, accomplishing virtue, the source of every excellence. I shall thoroughly renounce unwholesome deeds. May the creatures of samsara's various realms be at peace without the misery of their worlds. May beings who lack sense faculties or hold defective ones be endowed with powers complete. For beings feeble in body, afflicted with disease, and in all 10 directions devoid of defense, may they swiftly be free of their ailments, obtain perfect senses, strength, and good health. For those imperiled by threats and death from kings or thugs, tormented by numerous hundreds of afflictions, may these beings, wretched, weak with sorrow, be free from hundreds of horrific fears. For those who are tortured, bound and beaten, distressed by passion, or captured by delusion, may these beings, fearful, faced with sorrow, be freed from the shackles of bondage. May those who are beaten find freedom from beating. May those facing murder be endowed with life. May those who are feeble be without fear. May beings tortured by hunger, craving, and thirst immediately find a wealth of food and drink. May the blind see an abundance of forms and deaf hear captivating sounds. May the naked find plentiful attire and the poor find mines of treasure. Through wealth of riches, grains, and jewels, may beings be endowed with serenity and joy. May no being face the pain of affliction. May all beings be attractive and handsome, endowed with exquisite, beautiful, auspicious forms. May every life be replete with infinite joy. As soon as they wish, may there immediately be food, drink, great affluence and merit, large drums, lutes, and piwang, springs, pools, waterholes, and ponds, imbued with blue and golden lotuses. Likewise, may they receive at once food, drink, clothing, and wealth, gems like lapis, golden ornaments, pearls, and jewels. May no sound of woe be heard anywhere in this world, and not one being in poor health be seen. Instead, may beings have great complexion. In each other's radiance, may they mutually shine. Whatever forms of excellence there are in the human world, wherever they are wished for, may these come to be. The moment they arise through the ripening of virtue, may the aspirations of sentient beings be fulfilled. May perfume, incense, garlands, and ointments, clothing, powder, and abundant flowers rain down from the trees 3 times. Thus, may sentient beings be filled with joy. May they venerate inconceivable Tatakatas in all the 10 directions, completing Bodhisattvas, Shravakas, and likewise the flawless, pristine Dharma. May migrating beings avoid the lower realms. May they go beyond the 8 unfortunate states. May they attain the 8 auspicious conditions. May meetings with Buddhas always be received. Always born in the higher classes, may beings be replete with wealth and with grain. For numerous eons, may they be endowed with great form, renown, complexion, and fame. May all women become like men, heroic, learned, lucid, and strong. Endeavoring to complete the 6 perfections, may they incessantly strive for enlightenment. May they come to behold Buddhas in 10 directions, seated at ease upon precious lapis thrones, under bejeweled, exquisite, stately trees. May they hear the Buddha's Dharma explained, unwholesome deeds I have performed, and created in wretched existence past. May those negative effects which ripen due to deeds be completely extinguished. May those beings who are tied to existence, tightly bound by the rope of the cyclic round, unravel their bondage with a wisdom hand and quickly be freed from all sufferings. Whatever being here in Jabadipa and other world spheres too perform virtuous acts, in these deeds I rejoice in full. Through merit of actions of body, speech, and mind, through rejoicing in others' virtue, may every fruit of my prayers and practice unfold. May the pristine, peerless enlightenment be attained. Those who recite this dedication, who prostrate and praise with unsoiled mind, always devout and free of stains, shall avoid terrible rebirth for 6 eons. By reciting these prayers and verses, men, women, Brahmins, and royals, who praise the conquerors with folded hands, will remember their births in every life. They shall receive bodies adorned with complete limbs and senses, myriad merits and virtue. The Lord of humans will honor them always. Such will they be in each place of birth. Those into whose ears this confession enters have not performed virtue under just one Buddha, nor 2, nor 5, nor 10, nor 2, nor 4, nor 5, nor 10, nor in the presence of merely 1,000 Buddhas have they completed virtue. This ends the 4th chapter, the chapter on confession from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Okay, and then let's also just do these standard dedication prayers. So again, this one, the most important one. Well, I should say tied for first for being most important one. So for the generation of Bodhichitta, due to all the past, present, future merits collected by me, and all the merits of the 3 times collected by numberless Buddhas and numberless sentient beings, may Bodhicitta be generated in the hearts of all the sentient beings in the 6 realms, and especially in the hearts of everybody in this world, including all the students, benefactors, and volunteers in the FPMT organization. May it be generated in the hearts of all those who rely upon me, all those for whom I have promised to pray, and all those whose names have been given to me. May it be generated in my heart and in the hearts of all my family members, those who are living and those who have died. May the bodhicitta that has already been generated increase. And especially, we also dedicate for bodhicitta to be generated in all the hearts of the world leaders, especially Vladimir Putin. So may bodhicitta arise in the hearts of all the world leaders, and then having generated the mind of bodhicitta, may all their actions be only of the most benefit to all sentient beings, and may they never perform any action that causes even the slightest harm to even a single sentient being. So I wonder, maybe some of you have a doubt, right? Oh, it's not nice to call Vladimir Putin out by name. But no, don't have that kind of doubt. You know, I wish someone, would collect 60 people and recite the Golden Light Sutra and dedicate that May Tenzin Namjong, generate the mind of Bodhicitta this very second. I wish that would happen. So this is, such a wonderful aspiration, for anyone. So it's only done with more compassion than, he has for himself, right? So next, for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, may you have a long life, and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Is also very important, dedication, not only that, His Holiness have a long life, but also to wish that all his holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled, because, of course, His Holiness is wishing that all sentient beings generate bodhicitta, that there also be no suffering in the world. So you think about all the holy wishes of His Holiness be spontaneously fulfilled. Amazing. So next, for the long life of His Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as a bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunatha's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers, honoring the 3 sublime ones, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. Then to seal our dedication with the understanding of emptiness. Due to all the past, present, future merits collected by me, the numberless Buddhas and numberless sentient beings, which are completely empty of existing from their own side, may I, who am completely empty of existing from my own side, achieve the state of full enlightenment, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are completely empty of existing from their own side to that state, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, by myself alone, who am completely empty of existing from my own side. Next 2 verses from the King of Prayers. I fully dedicate all these virtues to be able to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality, and just like Samadhabhadra as well. I fully dedicate all my roots of virtue with the dedication praise is the best by all the gone beyond victorious ones of the 3 times in order to have good conduct. Then for the flourishing of the teachings, particularly Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings. For the Dharma King Tsongkhapa's way of Dharma to flourish, may all signs of obstacles be pacified and all conducive conditions be complete. Due to the two types of merit of the three times of myself and others, may the teaching of the victorious one, Losar Drakpa, shine resplendent forever. And so let's also dedicate. Let's also dedicate due to the three-time merit accumulated by ourselves, as well as all three-time merit accumulated by numberless sentient beings and numberless Buddhas. So all those beings who have recently died, whether due to war or illness or whatever factor caused their death, then all these beings currently in the bardo, may they instantly be reborn in a pure land where they can achieve enlightenment, or at the very least, may they again attain a perfect human rebirth, meet with a Mahayana Guru and the Mahayana Dharma, practice well, and thereby attain enlightenment in their very next life. And then, yes, let's also dedicate due to the three-time merit accumulated by ourselves, as well as the three-time merit accumulated by numberless sentient beings and numberless Buddhas, that all of the signs of degeneration in this degenerate time, particularly all the suffering due to the war, due to natural disasters, due to illness, economic problems, all the suffering experienced by the refugees, may these and all the various sufferings that sentient beings are experiencing be instantly pacified right this second. And then may all of these various sufferings never be experienced by anyone in all of the world systems of the 10 directions from now until the end of samsara. Okay. So I had a thought. Oh, Tibetan Namjong is no longer here. But I think he'll hear about this. I'll tell him it. But anyway, I'll share it with you. But, Tibetan Namjong, he left. He's in Rinpoche's room right now. And he offers water bowls on behalf of all of us, on behalf of all sentient beings on a daily basis. And I thought it'd be very good for him to invite Lama Zopa Rinpoche to give the oral transmission of the Golden Light Sutra in the Ukraine. That'd be very good. So then, of course, for that to happen, especially for Venerable Raja to allow such thing to happen, then the situation in Ukraine has to be like so much better, have to be total peace and all this stuff. So just having that as an aspiration, I think it'd be very good. I think it would help to, set one cause and condition in place for that to happen. And then, of course, for that to happen, then, the situation would be, only getting better and better. So what do you think? Good, huh? Yeah. Anyway, barring that, I myself, I consider myself to be very lucky to have a Dharma connection with, I think Tibetan Namgyal, and then, my sister on this call. I kind of would wager that they're probably among the top 5 of all Ukrainians in terms of Dharma knowledge. And they both, I have the good fortune, I'm very kind of proud of them. But they're in my courses. And now they're like the shining examples of Dharma knowledge in the whole country. So that makes me very, very happy So anyway, keep it up, all of you, right? All of you, you know, I tried to emphasize this again and again, but all of you, I say this, I'm teaching a class for the center in California, a lot of Americans, and we're doing the Discovering Buddhism. And I say, if you study well, I mean, by the end of this course, you'll be the foremost expert of Buddhism within your own postcode, right? That's not that amazing a sort of accomplishment, right? So now all of you on this call, right? It's very important, right, that we make best use, because we never know, right? We never know what kind of karma might happen, and then yeah, you just might find yourself, you know, being in a country or a place where you happen to have the best Dharma knowledge, right? And then you'll be, you know, kind of forced to draw on those resources, your internal Dharma resources, to then help sentient beings. So don't just leave it to Lama Zopa Rinpoche and His Holiness, right? It's up to you too, right? That's why when Rinpoche, the dedication, all right, lead all sentient beings to the state of enlightenment by myself alone, right? Really, to have courage in this time, even though, you know, the world, yeah, very easy to get upset by the what's going on. Seems like, you know, no matter what we do, then only getting worse. But still, you know, courage, determination, we keep going, do what we can. And the people that, you know, we meet on a day-to-day basis, try to, you know, benefit them, and at the very least, not harm. Try to improve our minds a little bit every day, get better. Then over a long period of time, things can change. So anyway, sorry, I'm rambling a bit at the end. I'll leave it at that. But thank you to all of you on this call, all of you tuning in on the YouTube afterwards. Again, thank you to Pema, Kunpenla. Yeah, this has been, for me, one of the most kind of meaningful events that I've done. So, for what it's worth, it required all of you, dependent arising, right? No one tuning in, then I just recite by myself, right? Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Venerable Namjong La. Thank you so much for accepting to lead this session and then to guide us for the last 6 days in this very precious sutra, and to giving us great encouragement. Thank you so much. And we hope to welcome you very soon at Tushita in person, you know, on the hill, that we all come together there again. And meanwhile, yes, we will carry on online. And thank you so much, everybody, for your practice. Has been very inspiring to see you, you know, showing up again and again every day. And it's very inspiring. Thank you so much. Also, I see many familiar faces here. So thank you so much for all your support in the last 2 years of online. We hope that soon we will wean off a little bit from online and come residential again. So we wanted to thank you so much for all your support. The last 2 years we have been in lockdown. We are still in lockdown, and all your great encouragement. And without you, we wouldn't be here anymore, because of you, you know, we've been surviving. Yeah, thank you. And if you wanted to practice more generosity, there is a link in also towards Venerable Namjong. There is a link. Namjong, don't listen now. Look somewhere else. In the chat. Yeah, thank you so much. And something like that. Today, the day is not finished yet. Venerable Namjong might go to bed, but we will carry on. I know that Venerable Namjong is a bit of a night owl, so he might be, also carry on. So today we have Yangten Rinpoche at 4 o'clock Indian time. He is a very amazing, one of the young lamas, very inspiring, very clear, very enthusiastic, and he is very close to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He actually works, gives service in His Holiness office. It's very close to His Holiness. If you ever seen teachings by His Holiness, Yangten Rinpoche is always there, right next to him. When you hear online teachings, the voice to the side is always Yangten Rinpoche. So we are very, very fortunate and very honored to have him today at 4 o'clock. Teaching a Lojong text, the 7-point mind training. Those of you, I remembered seeing many of your faces yesterday for Jitsuma's teaching, Jitsuma Tenzin Palmo. First thing she said, remember, is we need more mind training. So here you get it straight away from a great Tibetan master, yeah? So from the Guru's mouth, from Yangten Rinpoche. So 4 o'clock Indian time, please tune in again, and it will be translated. Rinpoche speaks in Tibetan, and Geshe Khalsang Wangmo will translate into English. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a lovely day. Venerable Namjong, thank you so much. Have a lovely evening wherever you are. See you very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And just one small thing, I shared again the preliminaries to Sutra reading and the multiplying mantra at the end. So I shared it on the first day and I shared it again because maybe some of you didn't attend that day.
We can also put
it's in the chat. Yeah.
We can put that in a resource folder. If it's not on our website yet, then we can put it in a resource folder. Yeah. Pamela, do you have the copy of the link? Oh, you have it anyway.
Yes, Pamela, I have it.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Venerable Namjong. See you very soon.
Thank you, Venerable, so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you, Kumpenla. Thank you, all of you.
Bye-bye.